Hello and welcome to Module 3, Chapter 4.2. In this presentation, we will explore the maternal and newborn health knowledge that facilitators need to facilitate PLA-MNH groups effectively. This presentation is split into 5 sections. First, we will consider the responsibilities, knowledge and skills that PLA-MNH group facilitators need to facilitate the PLA-MNH group action cycle. Next, we will explore the causal mechanism that PLA-MNH group facilitators need to know to better understand all maternal and newborn health problems and how to address them. Then we will also explore how picture cards can help PLA-MNH group facilitators to map out this causal mechanism for all MNH problems. Fourth, we'll cover what to do next after reviewing this presentation. And finally, we'll also give you guidance on how to get answers to any questions you might have. Let's turn our attention first to the PLA-MNH group facilitator responsibilities, knowledge and skills we'll be focusing on in Chapter 4.2. As presented previously, PLA-MNH group facilitators are critical and central to the success of the PLA-MNH group approach. They are the members of the program implementation team most directly involved in supporting PLA-MNH groups to achieve their objectives. To do this, PLA-MNH group facilitators have 4 key responsibilities: facilitating the PLA-MNH group cycle, reporting on PLA-MNH group progress, linking PLA-MNH groups, and building the capacity of PLA-MNH group committees. In Chapter 4.2, we are concerned specifically with building capacities in relation to the first responsibility, facilitating the PLA-MNH group cycle. There are 3 knowledge and skill areas that are critical for PLA-MNH group facilitators to deliver this responsibility effectively: maternal and newborn health knowledge, facilitation skills, and knowledge of the PLA-MNH group action cycle. In Chapter 4.2, we will specifically explore maternal and newborn health knowledge. Let's start by exploring the causal mechanism that PLA-MNH group facilitators should know to better understand all maternal and newborn health problems and how to address them. Maternal and newborn health problems are defined as those problems that can affect women and newborns during pregnancy, delivery, and the first month after birth. Maternal and newborn health problems can kill, harm, or hold back women and newborns. Maternal health problems include things like hemorrhage, anemia, undernutrition, malpresentation, hypertension, prolonged labour, retained placenta, HIV/AIDS and STIs, sepsis, malaria, and ruptured uterus. On the other hand, newborn health problems include things like asphyxia, pneumonia, hypothermia, diarrhea, preterm birth, sepsis, and HIV/AIDS. For each problem, it is possible to identify the causal practices. These are the behaviours of women and newborns, most commonly behaviours that people, structures and society around them forces or constrains them to perform, that can cause the maternal and newborn health problems to arise. And for each problem, it is also possible to identify the effects. These are the results of the problems, often death, illness or disability. In this chain, there are 2 places where we can intervene. We can either stop the causal practices and so stop the problem from arising, or we can stop the problem once it has already arisen from leading to the effects. So, for each problem, since we know the causal practices, we can also describe the behaviours that can help them prevent the maternal and newborn health problem from arising. And, for each problem, since we know the effects, we can also describe the behaviours that can help to manage the problem if it has already arisen, to stop it leading to the effects. Unfortunately, women and newborns face a range of barriers to performing these behaviours. These are factors that constrain the behaviour of women and newborns, that stop women and newborns from performing effective prevention and management behaviours. For each problem, we can also identify these. Commonly, they include individual, family and community factors such as lack of knowledge and poverty, systems factors such as poor quality and inaccessibility of services, and societal factors such as cultural norms and values. Let's quickly run through an example of one problem to see how this mechanism works. Let's look at malaria in women. The key causal practices that lead malaria to arise in pregnancy are not going for antenatal care, where you can receive advice and support on malaria prevention, including malaria prophylaxis, and not performing malaria prevention practices at home, for example, not sleeping under an insecticide-treated bed net every night. The effects of malaria can be very severe. A woman who gets malaria can suffer death, miscarriage, stillbirth, or ill health, including anemia and jaundice. Knowing what the causal practices are, we can now identify how to prevent malaria from arising. This includes going for antenatal care. In this way, you can receive advice and support on malaria prevention, including malaria prophylaxis, and taking malaria prevention practices and steps at home, for example, sleeping under an insecticide-treated bed net every night. Also, knowing what can be the effects of malaria means we can identify how best to manage it if it has already arisen. You can either treat it by keeping the patient hydrated and immediately seek care from the nearest health facility where you will be able to get medical treatment, and, once received, follow health worker advice to ensure the treatment is effective. But not all women are able to perform these prevention and management behaviours. Common barriers include a lack of knowledge about malaria, for example, its signs and symptoms, its causal practices and how to prevent and manage it, or a lack of finances or other resources which are needed to get to a health facility for antenatal care or to seek treatment. Or finally, poor quality of services, perhaps where there are not sufficient health workers or stocks of medicines to effectively prevent and manage malaria. But why is it important to map out the causal mechanism for a problem? Well, by mapping out the causal mechanism, we can identify the barriers facing women and newborns. This is critical, because it is only by knowing what are the barriers that effective solutions can be developed. For example, to overcome a lack of knowledge, we can implement a health education campaign. To overcome a lack of resources, to get to health facilities, we can develop a small-scale income-generating activity or business. And finally, to overcome a lack of quality in health services, we can engage in lobbying and advocacy activities. Solutions like these will help women to perform the important prevention and management behaviours, which in turn will result in less women getting malaria, and if they do, greater ability to treat it and stop it, leading to death and other harmful effects. One tool that is very helpful for PLA-MNH group facilitators is picture cards. PLA-MNH group facilitators can use these picture cards to map out the causal mechanisms for all of the maternal and newborn health problems. There are three types of picture card. Red cards, which are maternal and newborn health problem cards. Green cards, which are prevention and management cards. And yellow cards, which are barrier cards. Let's look first at the maternal and newborn health problem cards, the red cards. These cards illustrate the health problems that can kill, harm or hold back women and newborns during pregnancy, childbirth and up to 1 month after birth. The front of the card illustrates the problem, with pictures of maternal and newborn health problems affecting women and newborns during pregnancy, childbirth and up to 1 month after birth. And the back of the card presents information to help clarify the signs and symptoms of the problem. Following on from our malaria example, this is the problem picture card for malaria from a PLA-MNH group program we implemented in northern Uganda in collaboration with our partner Amref Health Africa. Now let's look at the green cards, the prevention and management behaviour cards. These cards illustrate the behaviours that can help to prevent maternal and newborn health problems affecting women and newborns from arising, and behaviours that can help to manage maternal and newborn health problems affecting women and newborns if they have already arisen. The front of the card illustrates the behaviours, with pictures of the behaviours that can help to prevent maternal and newborn health problems from arising, and behaviours that can help to manage maternal and newborn health problems if they have already arisen. And the back of the cards presents information to help clarify the behaviours. Again, following on from a malaria example, this is the prevention behaviour card illustrating antenatal care uptake from the programme in northern Uganda. And this is the management behaviour card illustrating identification of danger signs and seeking medical care immediately from the same programme. Finally, let's look at the yellow cards, or the barrier cards. These cards illustrate the barriers women and newborns face in performing the prevention and management behaviours. The front of the cards illustrates the barriers, with pictures of the barriers women and newborns face in performing the prevention and management behaviours. And the back of the cards presents information to help clarify the barriers. Returning one final time to our example of malaria, this is the barrier picture card for health service inaccessibility from the programme in northern Uganda. So, what should you do now that you have reviewed this presentation? First, we recommend that you update the Module 3 Progress Tracker. Second, we encourage you to do exercise 4.2.1. And third, exercise 4.2.2 to reinforce your learning. Having reviewed this presentation, you may now have some questions. If so, please don't hesitate to contact us by email or phone. One of the team will be happy to help. Enjoy the course!